Hi, I just decided to pop on to you to have a quick chat about setting boundaries. This is a regular thing that comes up with clients, that they really struggle, and quite often, oh, excuse me, quite often it comes about because they've lost their rag with somebody. Somebody has done a repeated behaviour towards them, they haven't liked it, and as a result of that, they then eventually go pop. They decide that they don't like this behaviour, it's not okay, it's not okay for their friend to continue to do. They've put up with it for long enough and they've had enough. And understandably, when they go pop, the friend is very confused, doesn't really understand. It's always been okay before, don't understand why it's now suddenly a problem, without realising, obviously, that it's always been a bit of a problem. So setting boundaries is really important in any relationship that you have, whether it be a loving sexual relationship, a friendship, a parental relationship. Boundaries and expectations are really key. So are they scary? Yeah, setting boundaries is scary, particularly if you've got a relationship where there are difficulties in it and there are areas which, are unhealthy for you. It can be quite scary because you worry that actually what's going to happen is you'll alienate that person further. And to be honest, sometimes you may at first, if you've never set boundaries within a relationship, they can be quite surprised that suddenly boundaries are in place. But boundaries do help you to cope with behaviours, to stop behaviours. Boundaries really are as much about you as the other person. So one example that a client's giving me in terms of boundaries is that there's a friendship where the friend quite often drops her friend at the last minute, so my client at the last minute, and quite often for a date for a bloke that she's never met before and what have you. And this has happened quite a number of times, and initially we talked about boundaries and that seemed a really scary thing to do, to set boundaries around that. So what would happen is she would disappear off and say that she's going to see this man instead and let her friend down. My client would then be really resentful of the fact that that kept happening, and eventually sort of popped and said, no, that's not okay. And reasonably the friend was like, but you've always said that that's okay before. So if you were in a situation where something is happening that you don't like and you never say anything to that person, but you silently seethe inside, then actually you're probably only affecting you because they don't even know that you're cross. And it's time to put some things in place. But putting boundaries in place for other people is really tricky at first. So what I would suggest you do is think about boundaries that you want to put into your life for yourself. So are there areas where you could put a boundary in place? So an immediate example that comes to mind for me is around food. So for me, I could quite happily eat lots of really bad things every day. But obviously I'm aware that I need to have a balanced diet. So for me, my boundary is I don't have Prosecco or alcohol apart from at the weekends, for example. And that during the week, I try to sort of balance my meals a little bit more. And at the weekend, then obviously I'll let go a bit more and have a bit of a treat. So boundaries can start with you. Another sort of next step to that, so you've got boundaries that only affect you, are only about you. The next step is about boundaries that are more relating to other people. So let's say, for example, you are very yes, I will do that. And actually this is quite prevalent at the moment because we're coming out of lockdown. All of a sudden we've got this opportunity to go out. But I don't know about you, when I've even been for like a cup of tea with a friend, or I haven't really been out very much at all. We went to Brighton the other weekend and I was absolutely shattered when I got back, really tired, because we've got so out of the habit of going out and socialising and that kind of buzz. So maybe one of the boundaries that you need to put in place is that you're saying yes to too much at the moment, and actually what you need to start saying is, oh, I can't do that then, but I can do it on whatever date. Or you don't even have to justify the reasons why you're saying no, but just look at the areas at the moment where you're saying yes too much. Where are you? And I say this to all my clients, so if any of my clients are watching, I know that one of them is at least. I quite often say kindness and giving are okay, really nice traits, until they're at detriment to you. And once something sort of takes away from you filling your cup, then it becomes at detriment to you. So if you are saying yes too much and actually suffering as a result because you haven't got enough time, you're not recuperating in between times, then it's time to start saying no to some things. So just to quickly recap, so look at boundaries that you can put into your own life at first so that you are taking baby steps to that. Next, look at the areas that you say yes to too much, that actually sometimes you need to say no, and start saying no. Start saying that you're not able to do it at one point, but you can do it here, however it works best for you, but make sure you're taking time for yourself as well. So that's kind of the next step to boundaries before you then get into the big wide world of talking to people and saying that actually a behaviour that they're doing is not okay. That's quite a scary step, so I'll cover that in a future live. But I hope that's useful to you. So, do you need to set boundaries? If so, go and do it, because the only person it's affecting is you, and you need to look after you. If your cup is empty, you cannot fill the cup for anybody else. So do make sure that you're taking that time, that you're setting those boundaries so that you are happy with the relationships that you've got, both with yourself and with the other people in your life. So I hope that's helpful. Have a little think about that. If you've got a journal, obviously all my clients have got beautiful notebooks. But if you are a non-client and listening to this, then get your journal, look at where you need to start saying no, look at where you're saying yes too much, and then work out what you're going to put in place instead. Okay, have a lovely weekend, and I will speak to you again next week. Take care, guys. Bye.